Days like this it is difficult to know where to start. Wherever you look, the country appears to be coming apart at the seams. Public services are unraveling horribly, and yet politicians are either powerless or unwilling to do anything about it. With the Platinum Jubilee upon us, it's anarchy in the UK all over again, just as it was 45 years ago when the Sex Pistols gate crashed the Queen's quarter-century cell. But it's not the punks this time. It's the public sector unions gobbing in our faces. Back in the 1970s, Britain was an economic basket case struggling to recover from an enforced three-day working week because of power cuts caused by industry. Today, a leisurely three-day week on full pay is considered an entitlement. Staff at key government departments such as the Treasury and Work and Pensions, DWP, won't even turn up at their offices more than once a week. All attempts by ministers to cajole civil servants back to their desks have been contemptuously ignored, with the full connivance of Whitehall. A Conservative government with what should be a commanding nearly 80-seat majority has been reduced to shriveled impotence in the face of rugged intransigence. Yet ministers seem to have swallowed whole the entire work-life balance scam promoted by the Human Resources. Yesterday, it was disclosed that the Cabinet Office alone employs 700 HR professionals, dreaming up ever more imaginative ways of pampering employees. Earlier this week, it was reported that staff at the DWP were being offered online motivational workshops, covering everything from jive dancing to the history of sex toys, to help them handle the stress of working from home. You couldn't make it up. Alarmingly, this so-called Tory administration has become addicted to throwing money drunken sailor style at. Here's how crazy things have got. Civil servants are sitting at home in the commuter belt munching hobnobs, still being paid thousands of pounds in London waiting allowances, while boasting about how much they're saving in rail fare. Meanwhile, train company revenues have plummeted because of lack of passengers and have been bailed out by the government to the tune of £7 billion. So the mug British taxpayer is subsidising the wages of stay-at-home civil servants while at the same time making good the losses of rail firms, which would in any sane world be jam-packed with fare-paying commuters travelling. This is the economics of the madhouse. But, hey, it's only public money. Therefore it's nobody's money. What's a few more billion quid in the context of £400 billion blown during COVID? Oh, and the icing on the cake is that, despite railway companies making huge losses, the unions are threatening a summer of strikes in support of high. They've already announced plans to disrupt the Platinum Jubilee party by shutting Green Park and Euston Underground stations over a confected bullying dispute. Some mornings, after listening to the latest news, I keep thinking I've woken up in the late 1970s. Bring on the winter of discontent. Nothing works properly anymore. You can't get a passport or driving license for love nor money. Airports are a disaster area. No public body, or private corporation for that matter, bothers answer. During the strike-happy winter of discontent, there was outrage when household rubbish went uncollected. Today, not emptying the bins every week is official policy, part of the fashionable green agenda. The same net zero nonsense has turned our city centers and suburbs into crazy golf courses, littered with ludicrous low-traffic neighborhoods and empty cycle lanes, all funded by hundreds of millions of pounds from a Conservative Transport Secretary, while at the same time increasing congestion and air pollution, not cutting it. Elsewhere, having sanctified the NHS during COVID, the government continues to shovel cash at an unreformed, top-heavy system which is failing hopelessly to provide adequate levels of service. Millions now languish on waiting lists for everything from heart and cancer treatments to ingrowing tone. A&E departments are overrun, largely because securing a convenient appointment to see your GP proves virtually impossible these days. Despite the daily heroics of medical and ancillary staff, the NHS is broken, probably beyond repair without the ruthless top-down overhaul which this government with a huge majority has shied away from. Ministers shower the health service with money, most of which disappears into a black. To nobody's surprise, it has been revealed that during COVID, The number of bureaucrats employed by the NHS at the extra £12 billion cash injection announced recently will inevitably be swallowed up, hiring more superfluous managers and funding pay rise. And for this we are now expected to pay the highest taxes since World War II. We keep being told the NHS is the envy of the world. Maybe it was once, but no longer. Same goes for the old bill. We used to believe that we had the best police force on the planet. Today, they make the Keystone Cops look competent. Over the years, this column has made a decent living documenting the growing stupidity and dereliction of duty exhibited by the modern police service as their interest in deterring or solving crime has declined, along with their bovine indifference to investigating everything from burglaries to car crime. Their obsession with diversity and political posturing has multiplied to the point of Yesterday, we were treated to a photo of a Cambridgeshire copper in a helmet painted in rainbow colours to mark the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. It was the most ridiculous stunt since coppers started painting their nails and wearing high heels to raise awareness of modern. Mind how you go. This on the same day that Her Majesty's Inspector of Constabulary said that police should use their discretion before making arrests when it comes to shoplifting by vulnerable people hit by the cost of living. Sounds like a license to loot, which is what happened when they tried something similar in California. Presumably, he's talking about vulnerable people like the woman detective who complained to Home Secretary Preeti Flamingo this week that she had to use food banks because she couldn't afford to buy didn't stop her holidaying in Portugal, though. Even the old bill are embracing the cult of victimhood which infests our society today. Yes, prices are rising and people are struggling. But you can't turn on the news anymore without seeing some hideously fat woman sitting in front of a 65-inch TV moaning she can't afford to heat up a tin of baked beans. What doesn't add up is the torrent of stories about people having to choose between heating and eating, alongside yesterday's report from the Cancer Research UK charity claiming that there will be 42 million overweight or obese adults in Britain by 2040. How do you get morbidly obese if you can't afford to eat? No doubt this Labour-led Conservative government will unveil a new multi-billion-pound anti-obesity strategy any day now. Maybe that will include forcing civil servants to get off their backsides and return to and putting overweight bobbies back pounding the beat, instead of gawping at CCTV and trawling the internet in search of non-crime hate incidents and inappropriate. Don't hold your breath. Right now, the country feels rudderless, ungovernable. Instead of pursuing proper Tory policies, this government appears to take the knee before every mad, single-issue pressure group, from Black Lives Matter statue topplers and eco-nutters who glue themselves to the M25, to sinister trans activists dressed as ninjas menacing feminists defending the rights of biological women. We'd be virtually self-sufficient in gas by now if ministers hadn't caved into a minority of anti-fracking hysteria. As we prepare to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee, there's a last days of Pompeii vibe, a curious mixture of decadence and decay. We've even been warned to watch out for a biblical deluge of blood-red rain and stand by for the looming monkeypox lockdown. God save the Queen? Heaven help us all.